What's going on, guys? Jake Verdant Tech here, and last weekend we did something very different from the norm for me. I actually went out and purchased a new laptop. More specifically, I went out and purchased the Asus ROG Zephyrus M15. So this video is going to be very similar to other product videos I do, including a brief unboxing, first impressions on the product, and we are going to go over why I chose this particular gaming laptop in general. So starting off with this very simple unboxing, we don't have a whole lot in this package. We have the ROG Zephyrus M15 obviously, we have our quick start guide and some other assorted paperwork, and lastly we have the power adapter. So going over the specs of this particular Asus Zephyrus M15, this laptop does come in a few different variations, so we're going to talk about this one in particular. So system specs for this laptop, you're looking at a Intel i7-10750H processor, and NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2070 Max-Q, 16 gigabytes of RAM, 1 terabyte of SSD storage, and for the display we have a 240Hz 1080p panel. So this particular Zephyrus M15 kind of fits into the product stack as the more competitive option for serious gamers, given the fact that this laptop is rocking an RTX 2070, which is the most powerful graphics card in the lineup for these laptops, and it also has the fastest refresh rate display, coming in at 240Hz. The other options in the Zephyrus M15 product stack are mainly going to vary from the graphics cards. You're going to see the other options having a RTX 2060 or a GTX 1660 Ti. Other variations might be storage. Some of their models have a 512 gigabyte SSD. And lastly, the displays. On one hand, you have a model that has a 144Hz 1080p display, which is supported by the GTX 1660 Ti, and their other offering is the 4K display with 60 Hz that is supported by a RTX 2060. So let's dive into why I decided to purchase a new laptop and why I decided to choose this Zephyrus M15 in particular. For those of you guys that follow the channel, you guys probably have seen quite a few PC builds that I've done, but I have not upgraded my laptop for quite some time now. The recent laptop that I had was a 2015 MacBook Pro that I actually purchased at the end of 2014. With the lack of performance and space on this MacBook, it was definitely time for me to upgrade. So this led me into the gaming laptop genre, as I am into gaming, but I know the fact that gaming laptops just pack so much performance in a relatively small form factor. And price-wise, gaming laptops are pretty competitive with basic work laptops in many cases. So as far as my needs for the new laptop, I needed more storage. That was a big priority. So I was looking for anything with a terabyte of SSD storage, with the possibility to expand also. Although I picked a very good laptop for gaming, Gaming specs weren't all that important to me due to the fact that I will be doing most of my gaming on my water-cooled desktop PC. Even with that being said, I still wanted something that I had the capability to game because I was going back to Windows, and you never know when you might want to do some gaming on the go. The big push for me to get a new laptop was the limitations that I had on my previous laptop, not being able to install certain applications and use those applications on the go, such as Adobe Premiere Pro for video editing, Photoshop and Lightroom for all my photo editing on the go, and lastly some software for 3D printing such as Autodesk Fusion 360 and Cura for the slicing software. Now this might not sound like a whole lot of software, but believe me when I said I was out of space, because my MacBook only had 128 gigs of their flash storage. So now that you guys have a brief idea on why I felt the need to upgrade my laptop and what I was going to be doing on the new laptop, let's talk about why I decided to go with the Asus ROG Zephyrus M15 and the other options that I looked at before purchasing this laptop. For those of you that follow the channel, you probably know that I'm a big Asus fan, being that in the past I've used a lot of their motherboards and have had great luck with them, so Asus ROG was definitely on my radar for my new laptop. Even though I'm an Asus fanboy, you could say, I definitely wanted to look at some of the other offerings from MSI or Razer. I was very interested in the Razer Blade 15 and the MSI GS66 Stealth laptops, but unfortunately after going over the prices and spec sheets on the Razer Blade 15 and the MSI GS66 Stealth, it was extremely hard to justify purchasing one of these two laptops given the fact that they had lower specs or the same specs for a higher price. For instance, the comparison between the Razer Blade 15 and the laptop that I picked out, the Zephyrus M15, the Razer Blade 15 had lower specs in the graphics card, having a RTX 2060 versus the RTX 2070 that I had in the Zephyrus M15, and it had half the storage offhand. So you're only getting a 512GB SSD versus a 1TB SSD that you would get in the Zephyrus M15, and only a 144Hz refresh rate panel versus the 240Hz refresh rate panel on the M15. And with all these lower specs, the Razer still comes in $220 more than the standard price on the ROG Zephyrus M15. Now this could be due to Razer's really nice fit and finish on their laptops, usually having some kind of aluminum alloy finish, and it looks and feels really nice and durable. Now the MSI GS66 Stealth was about the same price as the Razer, but it did come in with the same specs, having the RTX 2070 and 1TB of SSD storage. I kind of steered away from them because of some of the issues that I heard with the trackpad and obviously the higher price for the same specs. So overall, I quickly found out that Asus reigns supreme in price to performance value. So this had me looking deeper into the Asus product stack to see what other laptops they had available. So I went through all the M15s in the lineup, and I narrowed it down to the model that I ended up purchasing, which is the model with the RTX 2070, 1TB of storage, and the 240Hz refresh rate panel. I like the other two laptops in the M15 product stack, such as the M15 with the 1660 Ti 144Hz refresh rate panel, but the only downside to this one is off the bat you only get 512GB of SSD storage, and I really wanted that terabyte. The 4K model was really nice, but it was a little more than I wanted to pay, and it only had a 60Hz refresh rate panel. Now this probably would have been a really good laptop for me, given that most of the work I'll be doing on this is like content creation stuff, but I really wanted the extra performance of the RTX 2070, a higher refresh rate panel, and a little bit lower price. So there was one other laptop that I was highly considering purchasing over the M15 that I chose, which is the ROG Zephyrus G14. This is a extremely popular offering from Asus ROG, given that this laptop is very high spec and it comes in a very small form factor of 14 inches. I was definitely interested because of the graphics power that it had, an RTX 2060 Max Q, 1TB of SSD storage, 16 gigs of RAM, and it does have an AMD Ryzen 9 in it. So this Ryzen 9 versus the Intel i7 that I have in the M15 that I purchased does pack a few more threads, which definitely had me considering it even more. So the biggest things that steered me away from this laptop and more towards the M15 with the Intel i7 and the RTX 2070 The first one was, even though I really liked the form factor of the 14-inch laptop, I kind of wanted the extra screen real estate because it made a big difference seeing them side by side, the 14-inch display versus the 15.6-inch display. So I thought the little bit extra screen real estate would be nice for video editing and gaming. The other factor that really had me second guessing this laptop was the fact that it has an AMD Ryzen 9 in it. I have been very impressed with AMD's CPUs that they've come out with in the past couple years, and I've really wanted to build an AMD system or purchase an AMD laptop like this one, and I have nothing against AMD, but I am exclusively an Adobe Premiere user, and Adobe Premiere definitely is more optimized for Intel utilizing QuickSync, and I was worried that I wouldn't get quite the performance that I needed for editing videos that I would get out of an Intel chip versus the AMD chip in the Zephyrus G14. So that was the main thing that had me sway back towards the Zephyrus M15 with the Intel i7. So wrapping up this video, guys, we're going to go over my first impressions on the Asus ROG Zephyrus M15, and after using it for a week, things I like, dislike, and if you are in the market for a new gaming laptop, if the M15 is something you should consider. So as far as the build quality goes, I would rate it very highly, as the Zephyrus M15 has a very premium feel to it. Even though it might not be a aluminum finish like other offerings, it is a very durable feeling plastic that has a great premium feel to it and is very satisfying to the touch. The M15 has a very neutral feeling keyboard where you don't have those very short throw butterfly keys like some laptops these days. They have quite a bit of travel. Not as much as something like a mechanical keyboard, but they have a solid, satisfying travel to them that many users can enjoy typing on. As far as form factor goes, this laptop is pretty compact for being a larger gaming laptop, weighing in at 4 pounds 5 ounces and is 18.5 millimeters thick. So this definitely isn't the smallest, most compact gaming laptop on the market, but there definitely are less compact options out there. As far as performance goes, this laptop handles extremely well at the various tasks that I've thrown at it. Gaming is buttery smooth with that 240Hz panel. And most titles that I've played on this laptop with the RTX 2070, I've seen well over 100 frames per second on typically high settings. This laptop has so far handled Adobe Premiere very well. The video rendering times were very quick, and the video playbacks were extremely smooth. The only downside I could speak for this laptop and others like it that have pretty powerful hardware inside is the battery life. Unfortunately, with laptops that have very high spec hardware like this one, battery life isn't as good as other options out there. Along with that higher spec hardware does require some higher spec cooling. So you can expect the ambient noise of the fans to be pretty noticeable when you're doing any sort of intensive tasks or gaming. So that is going to wrap up this video, guys. Thanks for watching. I really wanted to discuss in this video why I decided to purchase a new laptop, what I was looking for in my next laptop, and all the research I did as a consumer to get the best idea on what gaming laptops are out there in the market before I chose the Asus ROG Zephyrus M15. I also wanted to give a first impressions of this laptop in this video, kind of summarizing the aesthetic details of this gaming laptop, along with my experiences so far actually using the M15. I also plan on doing a more in-depth review on this Asus ROG Zephyrus M15 once I have some more time on it and more experience using it. But in conclusion, I think this might be one of the best gaming laptops on the market for gamers and content creators, given the fact that this is a very reasonably priced laptop with very high spec hardware. If you guys enjoyed the video and found it helpful, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And if you want to see more tech related videos like this one, be sure to subscribe. As always, thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one.